Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on Firebird Studios. And as you can see right here, this is my custom figure that I did in the short film. I finally did it, where I showcased my LEGO articulate figure that I created out of mostly ball and socket joints. All the other pieces, I kinda had to get creative. So, without further ado, let's see how this works. First up, the face. So, pretty basic actually. I grabbed some double-sided tape, and then I grabbed a random 2x3 flat piece. I stick it on there like that, and boom, the face stays exactly where it should, as it shows a little bit of the neck. And that's where we're actually going to show in a second. But about the face, I hand-drawn a lot of faces, like a lot. I have about 50 to 55 custom faces. Right here are all of the other faces that I use to create this LEGO figure and the animation. I obviously used less than half of them, but when I make longer films, I will 100% be using every single face if I have to, because they show quite a lot of emotion for this figure. It's funny how stop motion can make inanimate things feel alive, and that's the beauty of stop motion. That's why I started it. So, moving on, the neck. I grabbed this piece, which has a 2x2 brick, but also has a little tiny ball joint sticking out of it. And then I used the lone socket joint connecting the 2x3 flat brick that I used to stick the face in place. I connected those two, and you've got the neck and how it works. So, moving on, the torso and the hip. This part was by far the second most difficult part of this entire figure, because I had to find a figure thing that connected both the arms and the torso. I had to figure out how to make it that way. So what I did is I got two flat ball pieces that have a 1x2 stud area, and then I put those two on each side for each arm, making a little layer so it looks a little bit more clean and a little less random and flat. That is how I got the torso. Moving on to the actual hardest part, the arms. The arms are hard to figure out because I was using socket joints at first to create the connection between the arms and the torso. But I realized that when I found the ball joint thing that I could use to connect each arm, that became a lot easier. And I ended up using the socket ones for the hands and the feet. And that turned out pretty well, which brings us to our next area, the hands, after I show you this. I wanted to make it look a little more clean by adding these flat pieces that make it look like the studs are hidden. I will definitely do that to more of the figure, but for now, that's all that's there. Moving on to the hands. The hands, I mean, I couldn't create my own hand, so I had to steal the Spider-Man mech hand. But to be honest, I think it still looks really good and unique because I kind of took away some of the colors to make it look more gray. As I said a little bit ago, I used these pieces for both the hands. And as you see right here, they connect perfectly and make this awesome looking upper body. Moving on to the lower body, which this part I don't need to explain. It just connects the torso with the hip. Moving on, the hip. I had to steal this from another LEGO set also. So I had to grab this hip piece from a mech, but when I tried turning it the original way, where this ball joint was behind or in front, it wouldn't connect everything. And I tried to find a ball joint to put in there, but that did not work. So I ended up putting it up, and that worked perfectly. Now it connected the legs, which I don't have to explain either. They're just ball and socket joints connected. Final part, the feet. I once again used socket joints, which were on their own, and had a 1x2 radius of studs just exactly like the hands do, along with the ball area. The ball joints and the socket joints were the exact same length, and it was actually pretty easy to do this, but I just had no idea. Making my own customized feet. What is on there? My own customized feet. Making this, I used a 2x4 gigantic brick, then used a small cheese slope for the little front, then used some extra pieces to cover up the socket joint, which successfully created this. And when you move it up and off of here, the pieces don't come off. So that, let me straighten that. So that is my customized figure in a nutshell. I feel like if anyone else were to make one exactly like this, I feel like it'd be pretty cool. But that's basically it. Not exactly the hardest thing I've ever built, but it was pretty hard at first, but here it is, and I will definitely add a few more things to make it look a little bit more clean. So, that's the end of that. See y'all. Bye-bye.